With so many paranormal channels out there on YouTube, how do you know which ones to believe?
Demons falling from the sky, I kick them to the side.
And hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Philip Page. Hey, listen guys, I want to thank you so much for coming back. I know that I've been out of sorts for the last couple of months. I said I wasn't going to come back. There's a whole video on that, but now I am back. I told you that I was going to be doing things a little bit differently, and this video is going to be a start of that. So if you have followed me for any length of time, you know that I believe fully in life after death, that I do believe that our consciousness and our energy continue on well after the body has died. Now, I've also made it very clear that I get a little annoyed when I see creators out there making claims of real spirit activity when, in fact, I believe anyway, perhaps it was fabricated or maybe it was enhanced. In this series of videos that I am working on, I'm going to be bringing forth some of those videos that I believe maybe aren't quite true. Maybe they have been staged, or maybe I feel there was some artistic license taken with them. Keep in mind, this is only my opinion. I am not saying that these creators have lied to you in any certain way. I am not saying that they have made it up or that it hasn't really happened. I'm only stating I feel that perhaps there is some creativity behind it. So this is how it's going to work. I'm going to show you the original clip that I found on YouTube, and then I'm going to show you my recreation of it. Then what we're going to do, we're going to go back, we're going to explore the original clip together. That way you can see why I had my suspicions, and then I'm going to walk you through real quick how I created the same video. Alright guys, let's get into it. Now mine. So I've been in this house about 1.5 years now, and when I first moved in, everything seemed normal, just like any other house. The last 3 weeks I've been noticing some things happening around here that I can't quite understand. There seems to be a lot of movement with shadows. And so I think what I'm going to start doing is start documenting what goes on a day-to-day basis, or I should say night-to-night basis around here. So I just have my camera set up here. This is a night vision camera, and I'll just document anything that happens, and I'll just put it up here. Okay, so let's examine that original video together.
Okay, so I've just sat down and I'm going to go through and I want to review this video real quick. Now, the one thing I want to point out real quick before we even really get started is take a look at the shot. The camera is high angle looking down on him. This is called a static shot, meaning that the camera is, in this case, I believe it's his cell phone. The camera is up on a tripod or some sort of a stand looking down on him. It's a non-moving shot. It's a static shot. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to take note of here is the color of the green. He's trying to mimic a type of... Where's money? Where's the lens? Lens is over here. Sorry. He's trying to mimic a type of night vision. Now, this guy kind of gives me the impression of he's just your average everyday guy. There's no grand expense on the house. It's no luxurious lifestyle per se. He's an average working guy. So the type of night vision that would provide a green image probably would not be accessible to him. That is military type grade night vision. The consumer grade night vision that you're going to see a lot of the time is going to be black and white. And so what I believe has been done here is I think he has just provided a green filter during editing to provide that type of green image. Okay, so now let's get on with it. Okay, so he's drinking, showing some movement, but then he gets pretty still here. Take a look to the wall on the right-hand side. His left, our right. You'll see how it shifts. Now, it's probably to mimic that there's a TV on, but what I think is happening, if you take a look, I believe there's going to be another shift that's going to take place on that wall. Okay, right there. So take a look to the lower left. You'll see now that shadow is starting to move across the floor. What I think has happened there is when he applied the effect, it's called a matte. When he applied that, I don't think he provided enough transparency in that matte, which caused everything to go just slightly dark. And now we see everything starting to take place. Around him, we see this spirit starting to move. And the thing here is that it looks to me like it's a little bit too smooth as far as the animation goes on this. He was probably filming at 30 frames a second. The video moving was probably at about 60 frames a second, which is going to give it a slightly smoother look. And now it's starting to fade out a little bit out of the scene. Something else that I'm noticing is that it doesn't seem to blend that well within the scene. Granted, it's supposed to be a dark spirit, and so I can understand why he would want to make it a little bit darker, but it doesn't blend in with the other shadows that are around there, and especially if you have a shadow that's moving and it's coming up on you. If it is spirit, as we've mentioned before, spirit is energy, and I would think that you would feel that, you would take notice of it. You would even see, with the rate that was moving, I would think that you would see this shadow start to move up on you. He's looking down at his phone, so something should have caught the corner of his eye. Something should have happened. There was no real reaction to that. So those are some of the elements that are taking place that make me believe that perhaps this was a staged spirit encounter.
Okay, now let me show you how I made mine.
Okay, so the first thing that I did was I shot the video, and I shot it on my cell phone at 60 frames a second. I took that video and I imported it into After Effects. The one thing that was important for me to do in this was, because of the fact that I filmed the video in high definition, I had to degrade that image. I had to make it look crappy, basically. So what I did was I took it down from 1920 by 1080 down to 620 by 480, which is why it has not as wide of a view to it. I also changed that frame rate from 60 frames a second down to 15 frames a second. And the reason I did that was because a lot of the security cameras that you will see, especially if they're on a consumer level, are going to be at about 15 frames a second. The other reason I did that was because it's a slight shift that your eye picks up on. You don't know about consciously, but your eye picks up on it, your brain picks up on it, and it can tell that there's something a little bit different. And because I was going to make this look like night vision, I needed to make the image black and white, and then I needed to boost the overall brightness so that you could see what was going on. Now, because I wanted to also mimic that night vision, I added a green filter, but I leaned a little more to the green-gray on this. That way it wouldn't seem so overdone. And I think mine's a little more green than his was, but it still gives the same basic idea. So now the image has been altered. The scene has now been set. So now what I'm going to do is I'm applying a matte. This is a black matte. So you'll see the black image pop up. I'm going to fade that out just a little bit so I can see where I'm going to be editing. I am now adding in an area. I'm cutting out the spot where the ghost is going to come out of. All these little dots that I put down on there, I'm going to be able to edit and animate each one of those. And so that's what you're going to be seeing here. Now, I feathered out the edges. That way it will look more like a shadow and not just a hard edge to it. And I also made it transparent. I went about 30% on the transparency so that you could actually see through it. Now it's just a matter of just animating and making the thing crawl the way I want it to. And the great thing about any type of software like this is that it pretty much will automate it for you. You tell it where you want it to go, and it will fill in all the blanks for you. And for the record, guys, this is how a lot of your paranormal investigators or your ghost hunters or those who are being attacked by demons, this is how they're doing a lot of that. Now, one thing that you'll notice is that you see me drawing the lines. I'm trying to follow some of the natural lines that are within the room. That way, end result will look like it's following more of a natural pattern. I don't know if he did this on his video, but this is what I did on mine. Once the whole thing is done, I just play it back, make sure it looks the way that I want it to look, and then I just render the whole thing out. And there you go. You now have a ghost attacking you.
So once again, guys, I am not suggesting that you stop watching these people. I'm not suggesting that you try to call them out. That's not what I am trying to do per se. What I am trying to do is that going forward, any videos that you see, even mine, you approach with a little open mind and think, hey, could this have really happened? Or was there another way this could have been done? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.